Hello, everyone. It's of course I've got a compatriot with me, Mr. G. We are
Yeah,
we're talking about the majority report, and even though I did a video on this separately, I think it's worthwhile having a conversation about it with somebody. So, Mr. G, would you like to give your preamble?
right. This is sort of a meta-analysis of the people's motives in the debate, and this is actually a pattern of behaviour that's been going on for a long time. And quite frankly, MRAs haven't woken up to this, right? Because we're still going to the table, we're still begging them for a debate. They keep on doing the same thing to us over and over again, and we act incredulous, we act surprised, even though they're doing this every single time, right? It's like a little kid turning a corner. The same bullies are punching you and taking your lunch money, and you go around the same corner every day, and you act surprised every single time, right? These guys, these feminists, these male feminists, these left wingers, they do the same thing every single time. And I'm making double sure of this. I'm doing an anthropological study on their behavior. I'm going into Discord groups, right? Forums. I'm trying to raise men's issues in the most neutral way possible, not being confrontational with feminists, even though I've got a right to be. I'm still getting banned because eventually they'll go, oh, you're a MGTOW. Oh, you're an incel. Oh, you're an MRA. Right. If I bring up things, they love their child support. They love their child support. Right.
Yes.
They'll bitch about women not losing their abortion rights, having them restricted, but don't you dare take away their child support. They want their child support and men are going to pay it, and they don't give a fuck if it's inconsistent in their ethics. Right. So you can't restrain women, you can't constrain women, you can't restrict them, they can do whatever they want. But men, know your gender roles, know your place, keep your mouth shut, pay the money.
And by the way, they will deny through the
Yeah.
teeth that women demand gender roles, but then
Yes.
they demand these gender roles.
Yes, it's gaslighting.
Yes, of
Yes.
course. Now, before we start, I just want to mention the young man speaking, I believe, is Blue Orange 22, and
Yeah.
was not introduced. Someone had to tell me who he was. So,
Yes. And,
so
here's another thing I want to criticize. He's in a Discord group, right? And they make lots of mistakes. And they're a free speech zone, right? They're a free speech zone. And this free speech zone nonsense is posturing because we're at war. We're at war with these people, right? It's a cold war. It's not a war of tanks. It's not a war of guns. It's not a war of bombs, right? We're not meeting on the battlefield, but it's still a war because they're trying to marginalize us and keep us in our place. So this is actually a class war in a lot of ways, or in other words, it's a gender war, right? And I think we should watch a bit of Sam Cedar. We don't have to watch too much of it. We'll just watch some of the worst of his silencing tactics,
okay,
and then we'll move on to something else.
okay.
I've been watching some of your episodes recently, and some of your viewers have advised me to call in. I am a men's rights activist.
You're a men's rights activist?
Moderator of several men's.
Sorry, before we go any further,
Yeah.
this guy, someone actually told him it was a good idea for him to do this.
Yes.
And
I'll be. Look, can I give you a little story? I was told it was a good idea to debate Vosh,
yes,
right? And Vosh just called me an incel and didn't talk to me. That's it.
yeah,
So the thing is, Vosh didn't go, oh no, I'm not interested in a debate. He told me he wanted to debate in YouTube chat messages. I turned up and said, oh no, I'm not going to debate you because you're an incel. And then he had a debate about men's issues with Warren Farrell because he was high status and famous.
yes, yes.
All
The
right.
thing is, I think when he, or not think, I know that
Yes.
by his behavior, he put that out that he would bait you so he doesn't sound like a chicken. But in
Yes.
the end, he knew he was going to get his.
And you wanted to waste my time and disrespect me as well. It's disrespectful, right? Just say no. I don't want to debate you. That would have been more honest, right? Yeah. Okay, but you wanted to waste my time. It's complete and utter contempt.
Yeah,
complete and utter contempt. So look, Vosh, if anyone's an incel, it's you. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's try and look at the expression on this woman's face at the bottom. Oh my God.
Yeah. She's said, "Oh shit."
Okay.
And I feel like the men's rights movement is very much understood.
Pause. I want to give people advice. If you really want to turn up on these shows, you don't tell me you're a men's rights activist. You just bring up the subject right away.
Yeah.
Right. You ambush them, and then they're obviously going to go eventually. Oh, you're an MRA, aren't you? Right? Because they're going to get hostile because they don't like the questions you're asking. Just ask them the questions. Don't tell them you're an MRA. Don't give them time to prepare. Right? Because you're more likely to catch them out and prove they're a hypocrite that way as well. Right?
Well, the thing is,
they won't be so. Let me give you an example. They won't be so defensive. You'll ask them a principle. Oh, do you stick to this principle? And then you can turn around. Does this apply to men? And you put them on the spot, and they might not realize you're an MRA.
yes.
Right? If they realize you're an MRA, they're just going to know. They're going to know, and they're going to be ready to shut you down.
Yes. Well, the thing is, this guy does show their hypocrisy. So we'll start her up.
Sorry, misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
I called in C-SPAN before. I've written articles before.
I'm sorry to do this again. Blue Orange made a mistake already saying men's rights are misunderstood, but they're not misunderstood at this point of the game.
Yes. Do you know what feminists do? When they feel they're not getting respected, they don't go, "Oh, we're misunderstood." They go, "We're getting marginalized, we're getting silenced, we're getting oppressed, we're getting mistreated." Right? And in this case, the feminists are lying. Right? They're lying. But we're getting mistreated. Instead of being, "Oh, we're just being misunderstood, there's a misunderstanding," we have to change our rhetoric. You are treating us like dirt. That's the rhetoric. It's got to be confrontational as well. There's another mistake we make as well. We're too polite. We're too reasonable. We're too submissive. We're too agreeable. That has got to end as well. We've got to. I'm not necessarily saying an aggressive tone, but we've got to take a sterner tone.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've been getting treated like this for decades.
Yeah.
For decades.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like you say, it's not a learning process because he's coming at these guys like they're reasonable people who want to debate. There's no reason to suspect that at this point.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And it's a fun hour, so let's just talk.
Okay.
So
Just pause. Even there, it's just, "Oh, okay." You see, even his tone is like incredulous. It's very subtle, but you can see it.
Of course.
told you they were a men's rights activist, what would your perception be? Like, how would you see that?
Pause. This is submissive again, right? It's trying to understand and have empathy, have a two-way communication. What's your perspective on me? Now, feminists don't do that. They tell you what's up, what's what. They tell you how they're getting treated, and they call you a misogynist, and they demand their rights, or they demand extra rights.
Yes.
Right? And we got to copy them, to be honest. We got to go, look, you're not raising men's issues. You're not talking about them. They're important. Why aren't you talking about them, Sam? That's got to be the tone.
Yes. Well, the thing is, it's not just that we have to copy feminists. We have to copy any other group other than MRAs, because the Black civil rights movement had the exact same attitude as the feminists.
Yes.
First gut reaction.
I want to pause one thing. Sorry. Can we pause? The Black civil rights movement did have one advantage, because I've seen TV shows, right? Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were getting invited into TV to debate.
Yes.
Right? We're not. That's the problem. We're actually more marginalized and silenced than they are, when you think about it, which is pretty staggering and amazing.
Well, that and the real problem to it, I shouldn't say real, but the other problem is that the Black men fought for their rights as a race, but they just turned into nothing when it comes to their sex.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
To be totally honest,
of course,
I think you're a lunatic.
Okay.
This is submissive again. This is why you don't ask them what you think of us, right? You don't tell them you're an MA. You don't grovel. Oh, what do you think of us? You go, these are these issues affecting men. Why aren't you talking about them? Right? Here's the ethical inconsistency between the treatment between men and women. Do you support this or not? Yes or no? You've got to frame it like that. You've got to put them on the spot.
Well, the thing is, too, he's saying you're a lunatic, but he hasn't said anything yet. So there's nothing for him to react to.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, men who want their rights are seen as disgusting by high status men.
Of
right?
course.
Now, I'm going to do a bit of a anthropology here on his character and his psychology.
Please do.
Sam Cedar is a high status male, right?
Yes.
He's a high status male. He was on CBN. He's a TV presenter. He's very big on YouTube, right? He's very well known. He's high status, but he's a left winger, right? And he debates libertarians quite successfully. He actually engages the libertarians because he's not scared of them. He'll crush their ideas because their ideas are crap, to be honest. They're weak. He can kick them over like cardboard, in other words.
Yes.
Right? The thing is, left-wing position is based on support for the underdog, egalitarianism, right? A fair and just society, consistent principles, equality before the law, all these principles, right? And here he's silencing and marginalizing an already marginalized group, and he's ridiculing and mocking them. You see, he's throwing his left-wing principles in the trash because it doesn't become about his left-wing principles. It becomes about his status and his place in the pecking order, quite frankly. So he's acting like a social Darwinist right winger. He's higher up in the pecking order, and this MRA is lower down on the pecking order, and he's going to abuse him and treat him with disrespect.
Well,
So
I've said before that, as you said, left wingers are right wingers when it comes to men's issues.
Yes, yes.
Anything else you want to add before going?
Let's carry on. Yeah, let's just watch more of this.
You asked me to be honest, and I wasn't going to disrespect you by not being honest. So that was my first thought. Was like,
I would have nothing less than the truth. And that's absolutely fine. I get the reaction all the time, and I understand why.
Pause. No. Blue orange, you're being submissive again. Oh, I understand why. I get that reaction all the time. No, that reaction, I get it all the time. I don't understand it. Why? I've never understood why. Right? No, I do understand why, though. People who act like that are trash. They're bad people. And in the same way, I understand why some people are pro-slavery. Some people were pro-slavery in the past because it profited them, right? Some people are just bullies and like to punch people, right? Okay? The mafia. Why did the mafia send boys around to break your legs to collect protection money? I can understand that as well, right? I'm not going to say, oh, I understand why you do that and I understand how you feel. Blue orange, with all due respect, you've got to stop being so submissive. You've got to hold a frame, you've got to have backbone, and you've actually got to be stern. Not aggressive, stern. Right? So do you know what I do in this position? I just go, look, Sam, if you already treated me with disrespect, you can go fuck yourself. Up yours, and I'll just put the phone down. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as you pointed out at one end, it's also the other end. Blue orange, because he's a lower status man. We've seen it with Vosh. You mentioned Vosh with Farrell, right? Farrell was still higher status than Vosh, and so Vosh was kissing his ass.
Yes.
Your reaction.
Right.
I see all these articles that are equating the men's rights movement to like the alt-right, to like incels.
Stop. Why are you doing that, Blue Orange? Why are you even bringing up the alt-right? Oh, I see all these articles equating us to the alt-right. You're poisoning yourself doing that. You don't have to mention it, right? If it's going to be mentioned, make them bring it up and then act angry when they do, right? If I was joining a conversation and I went, oh yeah, all these people, they call me a criminal, they accuse me of shoplifting, they accuse me of pickpocketing, and I've said that, people will be like, what's this guy on about? There must be something there. He's talking about it, right? But look, if you want to talk about how men's rights activists are seen, you should frame it as we're getting disrespected, we're getting defamed, we're getting lied about, and it's not on. This has to end. Why are you treating us like this? Why are you marginalizing us? That's how you got to frame it. This submissive, trying to reach understanding, trying to have a dialogue. You've got to hold your frame in a dialogue, and you've got to be a bit of a bore. You've got to speak over people, and you've got to be dominant, quite frankly. You've got to hold to your narrative, and your narrative, from your point of view in the conversation, has to be the only right one. Because in this case, we actually are, right? The civil rights movement didn't have a dialogue with the KKK, right? They knew they were getting oppressed, they were getting mistreated, and it wasn't fair, and they said so. Right. Sorry.
And what I'm trying to get across is that that is not what the men's rights movement is actually about. And
well, why don't you tell us what the men's rights movement is actually about?
okay, I would say there are both legal and social disparities that affect men and boys around the world. So both instances of legal discrimination that hurt men and boys, and different social standards and double standards that affect men.
Excuse me, before we go on, what do you think she's writing down anyway?
Do a crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
And boys. And we would like to bring attention to these disparities and discriminations.
Also, Blue Orange, his spiel, he doesn't get to the point fast enough. It says, oh yeah, there's this disparity. He's basically said men face disparities like 3 times in different ways, right? He should jump onto issues right away, because that's what feminists do, right? Even though most of these issues are false, like jump onto, oh yeah, there's child support slavery, there's circumcision, right? There's father's rights issues. There's the draft, there's healthcare funding disparities. Most of the homeless are men. Most of the work-related deaths are men, right?
And also one of his own guys, I shouldn't say, someone else who watches Blue Orange even said himself, he should have came out with the heavy hittings. What he started with, well, you'll hear what he starts with anyway.
Fix the laws and make them equal, and socially to get people kind of talking about it. Hey, you know what? I've noticed this is true. This is a double standard that affects men.
Right.
How come when a guy gets to call a girlfriend, people think it's funny, etc.
Okay, now let me ask you this, because I'm sure you have a long litany of legal disparities that you're aware of, and of social slights, like how come people think it's funny when a guy gets
Yeah.
Social slights.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that how he's using the weasel words? Right, yeah. Exactly. To downplay it, yes.
Not downplaying it, exactly.
Yeah.
dumped by his girlfriend, but not when a girlfriend gets dumped by his guy. I mean, like, I don't know
I
how
think
to
he
measure
means
that.
hit.
Oh, no. Hit, yeah.
Hit, hit. Okay.
I will say for the record, I do not think either is funny.
Okay, but fair enough. Let me just stipulate.
Oh, no. Blue Orange. It's not just that people find it funny. Women can hit men and get away with it, and not go to prison and not go to jail.
Yes.
Right. And domestic violence policing targets men. Right. I read somewhere that a male victim of domestic violence is more likely to get arrested than his female abuser if he phones the police.
Exactly.
Right. So this is how you should be framing it. So you've got to do a better job, Blue Orange.
Yes, Blue Orange.
If you're in a friendly audience, it doesn't matter so much. You can have the conversation, you can bring the ideas out. If you're on the spot and you're in a hostile audience, you've got limited time, you've got limited space, and you've got to be on the ball. You've got to be on the ball, and you've got to expect this from the start. You've got to be prepared for this type of treatment. Right? So you've got a limited amount of time to get your ideas out. Boom.
Without even hearing them. What at the end of the
Sorry, I wanted to get that part in because there you said you have a whole litany that I don't think we want to bother hearing. Here, let me just back it up just a second.
hit. Oh, hit. Okay.
I will say for the record, I do not think either is funny.
Okay, but fair enough. Let me just stipulate some of those things without even hearing them. What at the
Without even hearing them. Exactly.
Yes.
That's his way of shutting him down right off the bat.
Yes.
So the audience doesn't get to hear it.
end of the day is the net implications of this?
Okay, so no, he's a what was that? He doesn't ask feminists this. He doesn't ask feminists this. So if a feminist came to him with her issues, he wouldn't go, At the end of the day, what are the net implications of this? Because it's actually about bypassing what the points are, right? And he should just say, no, I'm here to talk about these points, this, that, and this, and that.
Yeah.
Right. And our net implication is men are obviously blatantly discriminated against and treated like dirt. We have to say it. We are treated like dirt as men by society, by the legal system, informally and formally. We're treated like dirt. That's what you've got to say on these shows.
I missed this when I first did my own go through. Is the reason he said net. Because when he says that, what he's doing is let's compare the sexes, and the women have it worse according to him, and therefore men should be ignored. That's what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And this has been backed by studies of human psychology. There is a tendency, a subconscious tendency, to show less empathy towards a male than a female. And they demonstrated this with a study where they offered participants money to give electric shocks to a random stranger. And
he's talking about that. He's talking about that famous test. I can't remember the name of. Yeah,
I remember.
So instead of talking about his issues, this time right now he could have brought out his issues. He's talking about a study and a test, and these people can just dismiss the test.
Yes.
If they want to. They can just say, oh, the methodology is flawed. Oh, it's a test done years ago, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Pain with each time. Now, of course, they weren't real shocks, and they were just told that. But people were more willing to hurt a man than a woman. Both men and women were both more willing to hurt a man than a woman. And I think people have a blind spot when it comes to male issues, because the narrative is that men are privileged.
But this is not now when you talk about the psychology of people having less empathy for men, and I can that doesn't, I mean, I haven't seen those studies, but that doesn't seem completely, it's not hard for me to imagine. What is that?
Do you see how he hesitated there? You see how he hesitated there? He knows society has less sympathy for men. Right, and he's hesitating, he's slurring, he's hedging, right? This is a sign of dishonesty. He knows that people show less empathy for men because he knows he shows less empathy for men, right?
Yes.
He's got enough self-awareness to know this.
Yes. And he knows that people show less empathy for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for example, in a lot of countries, the state pension age.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
Yeah, state pension age. Yes, it's one of the weakest ones.
Yeah.
Right, you've got blue orange. You've got to start off with death, things that kill men more or mutilate them. You've got to start off with circumcision, work-related deaths, homelessness, suicides. Right, the draft, stuff that kills men and reduces their life expectancy. That's got to be the focus. Right, these people are ready to scoff at you. If you bring up something like that, they're going to scoff at it.
Yes, and they do.
For men than for women.
Is that in this? It's not in this country.
No, in this country we have.
Well, let's just keep it. Let's just keep it within the United States, because I don't know. I also know. I mean, can we agree that there's also probably more countries around the world that are not the United States where women have far less?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you've lost already, Blue Orange, unfortunately, the way you frame it. A lot of MRAs are reluctant to be blunt and speak the truth in a blunt manner, right? You've got to make it about male suffering, period, and it's got to be outrage, right? It's got to be absolute outrage. Like, yeah, so all you've done so far, you brought up some study and test, and you've brought up the pension gap.
Yes. This, by the way, why they aren't freaking out yet.
Yes.
I believe they start freaking out.
It's low-hanging fruit. Yes.
Yeah.
Look, Blue Orange, I'm criticizing just to help you improve. Don't take this as a personal attack, right? You're very brave doing what you did. There's kudos for it. You showed a lot of patience, because quite frankly, I would have told Sam Cedar to get fucked by now, to be honest. And I tried listening to this video before, and I could only get 10 minutes in because Sam Cedar was just really annoying. He's just really annoying. I don't like disrespect, and I find it very hard to hang around it. Yeah. So,
well, the other thing too, Blue or Orange, I got to admit this though. In the end, you still won, as far as I'm concerned, because these people showed they had nothing to say against your points.
Yes.
Rights than men, that even if you can find countries where the pension age,
I would absolutely agree.
Okay, so let's just keep it.
Okay, no, you've lost Blue Orange. Some women get oppressed more than men in some countries. You've lost. That should never be the narrative. You should never concede to that feminist point. You shouldn't even bring up other countries anyway.
The thing
So
is, Blue Orange too, you should have nailed him once he started bringing up other countries. He just turned
Yeah.
around and
Yes.
said, let's keep it to the United States.
yes,
Not against
Excuse
the
me,
principle
excuse
of
me,
empathy.
excuse me. You got your own YouTube show, right?
I do.
Okay, so if you want to throw out random stuff like this, you can do that on your show. But I just want to ask, I want to try and just, sort of like, because I am quite sure, although I cannot list it, and I want to be clear on that if we were to survey the laws around the world, that women have far less rights around the world as a net than men. And if you have to go to the pension age for men as like if that's your top line, I feel very confident in saying.
right. Okay, he moved the it's not like he did move the goalposts, and he did it really soon as well. It's not like he did it at the start of the video, then did it later on and forgot. He did it right after he said, let's keep this in the United States. That's really bad of you, Sam. And no, Sam, women have more rights than men all around the world, in almost every single country in the world, if not every single country in the world. There might be some exceptions, but I don't know of them.
Exactly.
Because we have a lot of countries where women can't even drive.
It's because women live longer. That's
No,
the pension age, right?
You were saying something?
no, the pension age has nothing to do with women living longer. That doesn't make any sense. Are you stupid, woman? Are you stupid? That's what I said to her. Can you imagine if I tried saying that to her? They would have cut that off.
Oh yeah, it'd be over.
Yeah, because the pension age has nothing to do with how long you live, right? There's a retirement age, and if it's less for women, which it is in some countries, right? How long did you live? What's that got to do with that legal precedent? Nothing. And also, if women live longer, it should actually be higher, right? Using that logic, because they need to work longer to support themselves in retirement because they live longer, right? To pay towards their pensions because it comes up with their taxes, right? Right. Sorry. Let's just play this and watch more. Sorry.
Okay.
This will be another 2-hour video if we carry on like this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, I hope you don't put me through the whole half hour. It's brutal.
No, I don't want to. I just want to show some of this.
Okay, good.
But put that aside for a moment.
Hang on.
Can we just stay in the United States so that we can have this conversation?
You see what he did there? So,
Of course.
Women have got less rights all around the world. Oh, and suddenly he wants to cut off the conversation. So let's keep this in the United States.
Yeah, of course he did.
Let's carry on.
I just said it's because women live longer. Now, I don't think that pension ages should be different based on gender. But if anything, if one was to make a logical argument based on how...
Correct. The pension age would be shorter. Okay, lower. Now listen to me. Listen, dude. No. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he should have just left right here and there. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, let's carry on.
I don't want to talk about the pension age in some random country somewhere else. I want you to explain to me how... Listen, stop talking for a second and let me finish. I want to talk about what rights...
You know, Sam. I don't think you dare speak to people like this in the real world, right? You wouldn't, unless you're stupid. You should conduct yourself on these things how you'd act face to face, in my opinion. So therefore, you should only be rude and condescending like that if someone's rude and condescending to you first. That is very, very bad behavior on your part, Sam. Very bad behavior. And look, if you've got to lay down the law, so to speak, and this is not a pretext to do it, but if you're going to lay down the law, you should do it more firmly but politely. You should go, no, look, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Let's keep this focused. But you've got a demeaning, disparaging, and aggressive tone, Sam. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
Cedar, you're
is there any extreme examples of this, like later on? Because I don't want to watch the entire thing. Can you remember?
Oh,
So I just want...
it's brutal the whole way through. It gets worse.
Let's watch another 5 minutes then, and then we'll move on.
Have to do with the fact that there's a psychological study that show that people are less empathetic to men. What rights do you think that men are denied, and what material difference do you think that that lack of empathy provides in the United States that allows me to believe that my energy should go into making sure that men have equal rights as opposed to the people who have, only recently had the right to have a credit card in their name, or only recently had the right to vote.
No. Well, fuck off, Sam. Stop lying. Stop. They have the right to have a credit card in their name. What the fuck are you on about? What the fuck are you on about? Are you saying single women didn't have the right to have a credit card in their name?
This is what it is. I'll tell you. He's trying to say they couldn't have a credit card in their maiden name.
Yeah.
They still could have credit cards, so.
Trevor, I struggled to get a bank account and a credit card at one point, right? Because my situation in my life was so bad. And they actually, in the UK, they actually passed the laws giving people a right to have a bank account, right?
Wow.
So if you was a homeless bum, you actually didn't have a right to have a bank account, period.
Wow.
Male or female. So it may be in certain contexts, if you're in a certain economic position, you didn't have a bank, you didn't have a right to it. But it wasn't a gendered issue, as far as I know. There was no law saying you're allowed to have a bank account if you're male, but you're not allowed to have one if you're female.
Yeah.
Right? So this is just false
the
framing.
thing is, too, if he's talking about 1973, what he's basically admitting to is that there were housewives. Almost everyone was a housewife, and she didn't have an outside working job. And that was their choice, Sam Cedar.
Also, the assets weren't split. So she had a right to her own bank account, right? And before
sorry. Go ahead.
No, let's stop. But there's many things we've got to deconstruct it. Before she had a right to her own bank account, right? She had the right to spend the man's money anyway and go to his bank account. Then she was given the right to her bank account, but she still had the right to her husband's bank account anyway. You see what's going on here? Yeah?
He's basically complaining that there were any restrictions on females at all.
Yes.
In the United States, exclusively.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay with the U.S. And first of all, I know what you're saying about women not having a credit card till 1973, but at the same
time... Stop, Blue Orange, stop trying to empathize with him, stop trying to negotiate, stop trying to read him. Oh, I know what you're saying, like blah, blah, blah. You keep on giving him space. You should just say things more bluntly and quickly. This is what's affecting men. Men are dying, work-related deaths, boom. Circumcision, boom. The draft, boom. Parental alienation, boom. Right? Child support slavery, boom. Yeah? Okay, let's carry on.
19, 20-year-old boys in 1973 and before were being drafted to die in Vietnam.
Right, and I think you'll find that people advocated for...
Let's fix it today. In the U.S. today, for example, Obamacare allows for an annual women's wellness visit, which is an annual physical for general.
He's brought it back down again.
Yes.
He started with that big, powerful punch, and now he's bringing it back to Obamacare.
Yes.
Men.
And this is how, and also we bring up. Let's carry on listening.
Okay.
God.
Men pay for insurance for Obamacare. They do not get
God. You know, here's saying God. Here's saying God. Can you say saying God? Here's saying God. Right. These harpies, you restrict women in any way at all. Like you restrict them abortion rights a tiny, tiny little bit, or the most petty thing. They'll screech about it. They won't go, oh God, look, it's petty. It'd be like the most important thing in the world to them. How dare you? How dare you restrict us? We're women. We deserve equal rights. We deserve more rights. That's what they'll do. What they are. This. Do you know what this is? This is empathy denial, right? Yes. This is empathy denial by narcissists, because unfortunately, power is built by exclusion, not inclusion. Oh, it can be built by inclusion, but you've got to exclude. You've got to decide who to include and who to exclude. These people build power, they build a fan base, and women in general build a power by excluding men.
Yes.
Excluding them from having full rights, right? So these women will go around like narcissists and whine about their abortion rights, and then they'll turn around and go, boo-hoo, cry your man tears about your human rights violations, right? Without shame. And like I said, look, I have zero sympathy for abortion rights. I have no concern about their abortion rights. I'll never advocate for women's abortion rights. They're taken away, period. Because women who whine narcissistically about their abortion rights want child support slavery. And they'll tell me to cry my man tears over it, right? And that's my stance, because of the way we're getting treated. And you deny us empathy, I'm going to deny you empathy because you are at war with me, because you're trying to marginalize me. You declared war on me, and you declared war on men with your behavior, right? And like I said, so they're cry victims, they're cry bullies, and they're narcissistic empathy deniers who play the victim. So they want all the attention, they want to whine and complain about their issues, and then it's not a negotiation. That's the mistake men make. Oh, we'll address your issues, but can you please listen to ours? They don't do it. They cut you off.
Yes.
This is why we've
By-
got to stop
by the way-
negotiating with them. Yes.
By the way, it was actually in Blue Orange's favor that they included that harpy at the bottom, because
Yes.
she added nothing for Sam.
Yes.
She made them look like, well, what they actually are.
Yes. So, do we need to watch more, or do you think this is enough?
I think, let's say it's enough, because it's painful. It can,
It's not just painful. I think I've made my point.
yes.
So, and you've already done an entire video on this, but I
Yes.
want to talk about what's going on here and how we're going to have to come to terms with it, and how we're going to fight this. Let's show that Reddit post.
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. Let me stop it here.
Okay, this is the Reddit post, and there's countless examples of this. Like I said, I've been going to Discord groups, I've been going to forums, I've been going to Reddit, and I've been trying to raise men's issues in the most diplomatic way possible, right? And there's a very pack animal type behavior. They act like predators, and they'll start calling me names. They'll circle around me. Oh, you're an MRA. Oh, you're an incel. Oh, you're a misogynist. Oh, you're alt-righter, you know. Oh, you're a reactionary. That's a very common one. Okay. And then you go, oh, moderator, deal with this person, ban him. And I get banned. And this particularly happens in left-wing groups. It's very common, right?
Yes.
And this is a conscious strategy of exclusion. They're excluding us. They're not letting us raise our issues, because to have your issues addressed in society, you need to raise them, you need a platform to raise them, and you need to spread awareness, right? And we can't just do it in our own men's rights ghetto where we're getting ignored. We have to leave our spaces, and we have to go into other spaces and raise our issues. Even if it makes other people uncomfortable, we've got to do this. And we've been stopped from doing this, even when it's appropriate to the group's purpose, right? Like this here, MRA memes, right? This is a post about Father's Day, because every single Father's Day you get feminists trying to attack it and devalue it and take it away from men out of spite. Out of spite. That's the only reason why they do it. Out of spite, because they just want to take it away from men. This meme is about that, and this is Reddit memes, right? It's got 70 million. Is that 70 million? I can't read it on the small text.
Yeah. Oh, okay. They've got
On the right.
Yeah, they got-
Subcountries on the right.
yes. There's 15.7 million, and
Yes.
the list members online were 64K, almost 55.
Yes. So this meme was posted. It got 5K upvotes, right? It was popular. Yeah, it was popular. And as you can see up there in that little box, it tells you in the box up there, it was removed by the moderators.
Yes. There was no
Yeah.
reason for them to do that. Did they ever give you
Yes.
a reason?
No, they didn't give a reason. They didn't give it, as far as I know, I didn't see one. Okay, they might have given one. They often do, oh, there's drama here. That's the excuse they make.
Yes.
So instead of banning people creating the drama, they just, if it happens to be with men's issues, they'll remove it. If there's drama in a pro-feminist thread, they'll just ban the people creating the drama. It's a double standard, completely,
Exactly.
right? So this goes on all the time. They're shutting us down. They're not giving us a platform. And what these feminists are doing, right, they're doing this consciously. This is a gatekeeping strategy. Have we talked about the Whisper Network? I think we have, haven't we?
I can't remember. I don't think you and I have talked about it here.
All right. Have you done a video on it?
I plan on doing one. Yes.
But it's got to be done, right? Anyway, there's a Whisper Network, and it shows feminists censoring and getting men fired from the comic book industry, basically, like targeting them, right? And this is a pattern of behavior. Feminists always take up gatekeeper positions. They protect their own spaces, but they also invade neutral spaces and hijack them and kick men's rights activists out and kick anti-feminists out. every single time, and they're very successful doing this. So they put a voice on men's issues because there are men who've got no awareness of the MRA, right? Who've got no deeper understanding of these issues. They're still aware of something's going on, and they're trying to talk about it, and they get silenced.
Yes.
They get silenced, and because they get silenced, no, men don't get a deeper understanding because they don't see the information out there, and it's very effective. And we're getting marginalized, and we're losing because of this. We are losing because of this. This is a successful strategy that's defeating us. That's defeating us. Look, I've spoken to people in the Men of Good Reddit, and they say, not Reddit, in the Discord group, they go, oh yeah, this is going to backfire. Censorship always backfires. You know, this is helping turn people against them. No, it's not. This is working for them.
Yes.
It's very successful. Feminists have been doing this for years, and it's only getting worse. Right? There was some good anti-feminist pushback back in the day, like 5-6 years ago, and it got squashed.
Yes.
It got squashed.
Look, these guys are coping when they say that, because people have to be able to see this before they can say, oh, they're doing bad things. But they just come and see a blank page. They have no idea it ever existed.
Yes, and here's a problem as well. Okay, men are using these cope narratives as an excuse not to do anything, because the pushback against this, it can be done. It's going to take organization, it's going to take hard work, and it's going to take throwing out this free speech zone nonsense.
Yes.
Right? It's the ultimate in submissiveness, because the men are human Discord group is a free speech zone. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what happens when you have free speech zones. You have a free speech zone, they don't. They ban you. You have a free speech zone of any other group that's outside the MMRA you control. You don't ban them. Any outside group they control, they ban you. You've lost. You've lost. So what you're doing is, I won't make you pay a social price for your ideology and for you banning us, so you're free to attack us without consequences. So let's say you're a typical feminist and you're an anime fan, right? You love anime, you want to chat about anime, and all your friends are on Reddit anime with millions of subscribers, right? And you're chatting away with them, and suddenly you're banned. And you get a message that says, up yours, feminist bigot, no feminists allowed. What that would be is a feminist, you as a feminist, you're now paying a social price for your feminism, right? And it might make you think twice about being a feminist or being so open about it. It's the same with the alt-right. The reason why a lot of alt-righters are not open with being alt-right is because they get punished for it. They get banned from social media, and they actually might lose their jobs, quite frankly. So it makes them think twice. So what I'm saying is, feminists control these neutral groups. There's feminist bias in these groups. We need to set up our own groups that appear neutral. It's about anime, comic books, movies, literature, porn, whatever. We control them, we gatekeep them, and if anyone's got any feminism at all, hint of it, we just slap them and make them pay the price, because that's what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
And like, we should control this Reddit memes group, and all pro-feminist memes just get removed.
Okay. There's a couple of things I want to add, though, before we go on. Is one, you don't really even have to be an MRA or anything official to get booted. You just have to be a guy who starts showing a little bit of self-respect and saying, no, this is wrong. They will boot you for that reason.
It's not even self-respect either. It could just be talking about men's gender issues in a way that makes them feel a bit uncomfortable. And they might even suspect even like 5% or 1% suspect you're an MRA, they're just going to ban you, just to shut you down. You see, we have to shut them down. We've got to copy them, create our own groups, and throw this free speech show nonsense in the dustbin, because we're never going to get there. We're going to have to organize, and we're going to have to copy them to a certain extent, unfortunately. Right? Do you think anti-racist groups allow racists to post? Do you think gay groups allow homophobes to post? No.
Well, this is the other thing you wanted to bring up, is that when they talk about free speech zone, what they're saying is we're not willing to go to war.
Yes.
We want to be nice to women. We want women to be nice to us. We want to keep handing that olive branch out that keeps slapped away. It's
Yes. You're trying to negotiate with people who don't want to negotiate. Look, the history of feminism is, oh yeah, we're being oppressed. They lied about that. Oh, gender roles oppress us. Let's get rid of gender roles. They're oppressing us. Oh, by the way, they sort of oppress men as well. Let's get rid of them. they didn't get rid of gender roles for men. They got rid of them for women, right? Then they started pushing for more and more rights, and they stripped more and more rights away from men as well, right? And they're still doing this to this day. That's the history of feminism, right? They're lying to you, period. So there's no negotiation. It's like, you know, it's like, imagine we fought the Second World War, we're advancing on Berlin, right? They're about to finish the Germans off, and they go, Hitler, you're defeated, but let's give you the whole of Germany back, and let's give you half of Poland back, right? But you got to promise not to attack us this time, Mr. Hitler, right? We'll trust you this time, even though you stabbed us in the back before in 1941. Can you imagine they said that? Hitler goes, yeah, sure. And like a couple of years later, he probably invades again. It's like that.
Oh, by the way, here's another thing I'd like to bring up too, is that what's so important that is for us to have controlled spaces is Blue Orange himself mentioned how 13, 14, 15-year-old boys were calling him with nowhere to go because they're not even capable of talking to their parents over this.
Yes.
And standard for guys is anti-male, even in the family. I'm telling you.
Yes. Oh, no. Look, I know it's anti-male because I grew up in children's homes. Women can dump their boys in children's homes, and girls as well. They can dump the children in it was mostly boys though. They can dump the children in children's homes and take them out, put them back in again, take them out, put them back in again, and mess their lives up. And nothing's done about it. Nothing is done about it. There's loads of issues when it comes to children and male children, especially, that are not talked about or not tackled because no one gives a fuck.
Yes.
No one gives a fuck.
Well, actually, can I correct you there? I think they do. They want to make sure the boys know their place. They do care.
Yes.
And because I'm telling you now, you're taking the most extreme. I'm talking about even the, decent household with the intact family unit.
Yes.
Boys are taught right away to know their place.
Yes. Look. These parents are sending their boys to consent classes from the age of like 14 or 13, basically being told they're potential rapists, right? They submit to that. So we know this.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So what was he talking about? Sorry, you made me listen. But this is about strategy. This is about meta strategy. Yeah. So they're banning us. They're censoring us. Sam Cedar is not the only one. Cole Kalinske, right? He did a video about MRAs, and he just basically says, "No, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to have anything to do with you." And then he laid out his position. He says, "Yeah, I'm not into identity politics. I'm not into all this extreme feminist nonsense." But then he went, "Oh yeah, by the way, I support the Violence Against Women Act." Right? That's Cole Kalinske.
Yeah.
All right. And all these big time bread tubers, big time left wing YouTubers, right? They're all the same. They're all the same. And it's long past the point that we approach them, we talk to them, we beg with them, we reason with them. It's over. We've got to organize. We've got to create our own groups. We've got to make them well coordinated, right? We've got to coordinate on social media, right? So we can jump onto social media, Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. We need to organize. We need to grow. We need to push our own narrative. We need to create our own spaces. We need to create our own channels, right? And if any of them, and it's got to be men's rights related and non-men's rights related. And if any of them grow big, we just use that to promote our ideas and fight. And if you get big enough, and also we should debate feminists, but we debate smaller feminists who are desperate to debate us, and we kick them around like a puppy and record the debate, then move on, make them look stupid. Like the problem is, we're approaching the big time feminists with status. They don't have to talk to us. They can treat us with contempt, and it's a failing strategy. It's a failing strategy.
Yes.
And it's about time
matter of fact, it's been a failing strategy for at least 2 generations.
Yes.
The 90s for sure. Like the stuff these guys, they should have found out in the 90s that this is not working.
Oh yeah, like you get the odd 90s TV talk show, right? That talk about men's issues. It's very rare because they're suppressing it. It was like, ew, this men's rights activist, ew, what a weird position, ew. It was like that tone.
Yes.
I've seen them. It's like I think Warren Farrell was on talk shows and he was getting disrespected on some of them as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, the free speech stuff has to go out the window. The negotiation phase has to go out the window. We're long past the negotiation phase. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? If you punch the brick wall so many times, maybe it will crumble, but your fists will probably crumble first, right?
Well, yes.
Yes. But that's what MRAs are doing. They're punching the brick wall, they're banging their head against the brick wall, and they're actually asking the brick wall to be nice to them, actually, as well.
Yeah.
Like, bloody hell. So my analogies and metaphors are getting mixed up.
Yes,
but, yeah.
I know. Okay.
But I think we've said all he's got.
Yes,
All
I
we have
think
to
you
say.
hit
I
it
think we've made.
perfectly.
I think we've made our point clear. The tactics have got to change, and there's got to be more meta discussion about our strategy from a larger perspective. I don't see enough of that with the men's rights community because we're failing. We're failing. We are defeated. We're defeated. We're crushed. Yeah, I've really got to emphasize that.
Yeah, because to be honest, most MRI spaces are really more like a bar where guys meet to cry about their problems.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. G. It's glad you brought this up. I think it was
Yes.
worth doing it over again, as painful as it was, you know.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
And, yes.
You have the last
Yeah,
word.
Sam. I was going to say, fuck you, Sam Cedar.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye, sir.